Am I the idiot for kicking my brother, Sil, and their kids out because my Sil was being rude? Okay, so I, 30 female, am a pediatrician, but I haven't practiced since my twins June and Lillian, 4 female, were born. June has some fairly serious hearing issues, and while they can be fixed, it will require several surgeries over the years. My husband, 32 male, comes from a very wealthy family and is the only son and miracle baby of aging parents. They have been the sweetest people and basically set us up for life as soon as we were married, buying us a very nice house, paying for it to be furnished, etc. We didn't need this, since both of us are doctors. We met in med school, but they insisted. My family is messy, and my husband's family is more of my family now. My dad left us as soon as his wife would take him back, and my mom just dropped my brother and I off at her parents' house as soon as she could. So it's always been my brother and we are fairly close. He married his college girlfriend. She's a tax lawyer and he's an accountant. Sil makes a big deal about being a working mom. It's the subject of most of her posts on Instagram, and she thinks of me as some trophy wife. Ever since Lillian and June started going to a half-day preschool, I've been spending that time working with charities. Sil posted so blessed to have a real job and not take advantage of charities. I get a nice new dress for date night. Only working mommies know how hard it is to have just a few good outfits. At least we are not spoiled lol. Their house was being remodeled when, you know what, happened, and they came to stay in our pool house. She's been making more snide comments, like I wish I could fit into your overpriced outfits, but I chose work over billets. I tried to ignore her, but she said these things around my children. The final straw was, when we were all sitting by the pool, I was playing in the shallow end with my daughters and husband. She was sitting poolside, while my nephews played with my brother. She very loudly asked me, hey, nice bikini top. So, are the boobs real? I mean, how else do you keep husband interested? That was it. My husband started shouting at my brother to pack their bags now, and I was seeing red. I asked her first of all. I graduated med school, and I was able to resist sleeping through it. And hey, I may be worthless aside from having degrees from fantastic schools, but at least my children won't remember me as a bitch. She had an affair with 2 classmates in law school while with my brother, and I only learned this when my brother got drunk. Sil turned red and stomped off. We kicked them out, and they are staying at Sil's mom's place. My brother and Sil's mom having been texting me all weekend, saying I'm a heartless bitch and terrible aunt, kicking a family with children out onto the street, and ruining her children's memories of their mother. Am I the idiot? My boyfriend won't let me get a breast reduction? For context, I, 26 female, was born with unfortunately large breasts. Currently my bra size is that of a whopping 30-80 because of this. I've had intense back pain, shoulder pain, etc. growing up. Starting a few months ago, the pain had only gotten worse and worse. It seemed I couldn't go an hour without having to dramatically crack my back and swallow ibuprofen and still have to suffer pain. I've tried yoga, stretching, exercising, and everything to try to eliminate back pain. I hope that with a stronger core or something I'd be able to support my own chest, but I've only found that it makes it worse. So I did some research and found that a breast reduction was just what I needed. I thought about going down to a C cup or even a B. I wanted my back pain to be completely gone. So, about a week ago, I brought up with my boyfriend, 28 meters. Thinking he'd take it well. He's always been supportive of me, so I trusted him, and he was pissed. He told me that I was throwing away my body and caving into societal pressure. He said there was no reason to change my tit size, and that if I did, he wouldn't be attracted to me anymore. We argued about it for a good 2 hours before he tried to compromise with me and say he was alright with it as long as I didn't go below a D cup, because anything smaller than that was childish. He also called me egotistical and self-absorbed, asking me why I didn't talk to him about it sooner or think he would care about it. I told him I didn't think he'd care so much about me changing my body, and he stormed out of the room and has been passive-aggressively ignoring me ever since, even to the extent that he won't say I love you back or sleep in the same bed as me. Am I the idiot for paying for my dog's expensive surgery while my GF is unemployed? So my dog is 4 years old and I just found out she has cancer. The vet said that it was caught early and that with surgery and chemotherapy it's very likely that she'll have a full recovery and live a full life like she never had it. The only thing is that she estimates it will cost between 9-10k for the treatment. I don't have pet insurance, but instead I've been putting $100 a week into a separate bank account, just in case something like this happened. Now when I told my GF of 2 years about my dog, she asked what I was going to do, since it's not like she expected me to have that kind of money lying around. And if I hadn't been saving money specifically for my dog, I probably wouldn't be able to afford her treatment. When I told her about the money and that I was going to pay for the surgery, she was upset because 1. She didn't know about the account and 2. I'd be spending so much money when she's out of a job and struggling. She moved in with me a few months ago and doesn't have to pay rent. We haven't really discussed finances that much, but I know being laid off has hurt her. She thinks that I shouldn't spend it on my dog and wants me to save the money for if/when we get married or have kids. I told her that I'm going to do it and I'm going to schedule my dog's treatment soon. With all that happening, neither of us have been able to spend time away from each other, so we haven't said much the past 24 hours, and she's still upset that I'm picking my dog over our future. So, am I the idiot for spending so much money on my dog? Am I the idiot for making the neighborhood look cheap? I'm a recent college graduate and do not have the money to keep my house looking like the neighbors. I'm 24 and I bought my first house. I know it's super young for that, but I really wanted the financial stability of working to own something rather than rent. I got a crazy deal on this place that cost 60k compared to the other nearby houses which cost over 300k generally. It's a lot cheaper because it is a 1-bedroom house and there is not much market for that, especially in a neighborhood with almost all 4 to 6 bedroom houses. Apparently it was an old house that was developed around because the elderly couple who lived there refused to sell to the developer who was building more luxury large houses up and down the street. I think it was also cheap because after they passed away, their daughter wanted to sell the house quickly. It's also got a mostly wooded lot when the neighborhood is mostly raised of trees and all cultivated lawns. So the house is already an odd one out. But the things that made it unappealing to other people made it perfect for me. I don't plan on having kids for a long time if ever, and I don't have a relationship either, so 1 bedroom is perfect for me. I love the trees. I love being close enough to work that I can bike there. I live the way the house looks too. It's old brickwork and it's solid as anything. It looks like a cute little fairy tale cottage. Old and weathered and surrounded by nature, but warm and homey and adorable. So I've been living there for a while and I've done a couple things that in my old neighborhood nobody would have blinked an eye at. I'll just list them here. Park my beater car in the driveway. I have no garage. Put a outdoor sofa on the front porch. Put a hammock between 2 trees. Built a fire pit with stones from around the property and have fires. Had friends over and hung out on the porch. Worked on my friend's truck in the yard. Worked on my friend's bike in the yard. Did woodworking in the yard to make myself a new bed frame. And I have had a couple neighbors tell me off for the way I've been living. I guess the main point is that I'm not matching their standard of living. I don't have a nice looking car. I don't keep my car inside. I don't keep my woodworking to an indoor shop area. I made a rustic fire pit instead of getting nice landscaping done. I got an ugly sofa instead of stylized outdoor furniture. I have kept saying that I don't have the budget they do and I can't match their lifestyles. And that actually made 2 of my neighbors quite mad. One literally said all condescending to me, "Young lady, I do not think you are ready to be a homeowner. You should have stayed in college area until you gained some maturity and were financially ready." Which I thought was so rude. I'm trying to be financially responsible by not blowing money on rent anymore, not buying more than I can afford. But I'm getting judged for not spending on things I can't afford. Am I the idiot for charging my pregnant ex-girlfriend for food that she's consuming while she stays at my place? My girlfriend decided to break up with me 2 weeks ago after admitting she's been unfaithful and she's pregnant with a child that's almost definitely not mine. I was stunned at first, I can't lie, because we've been together since 2017 and I just never thought she would have it in her to cheat. But hey ho, that's the way it goes sometimes, and TBH I'm glad I found out sooner rather than later, cause I'm not ready to be a father. With everyone going on, I was in survival mode and agreed she could stay in my house for the time being. However, things are beginning to tense up cause she is helping herself to my shit like she's still in a relationship with me. I told her she needed to hurry up and find somewhere new to live, especially because she's eating into my resources and frankly I don't want to be responsible for her financially or otherwise. I'm telling you, she's going through a lot. She said she has nowhere else to go right now, so I said in that case you're gonna have to be asking your parents for money so you can contribute financially. It's not like I'm even asking for rent or utilities, but just to cover shit like food and water. I can't afford to keep both of us afloat, and she has no job, so I defo don't feel obliged to help her out. Anyway, she literally called all of our friends, all of whom are calling me an evil bastard. So am I the asshole? Cause I sure as hell don't feel like one, but they're saying otherwise. Am I the idiot for screaming at my birth mom and sick sister when they found me? Note, I was almost 24 and living in the dorms as an advisor while in grad school. She had just turned 23. We have less than a year apart. She is not a child and neither am I. I was adopted before I was born and put into the arms of my adopted dads when I was an hour old and my birth mom had disappeared from the hospital already. I grew up happy. I didn't want for anything. I was all successful and fine. It was all good in my hood. My birth mom recently arrived to my on-campus dorm with my younger birth sister because apparently my younger sister is pretty sick and needs a kidney and a lobe of liver to survive. We have the same father, and so we are a blood match and we should be a perfect donation match as well. But that doesn't matter because I don't owe anyone shit and I'm not giving up parts of my body that I ducking need. Man, I blew the duck up. They were standing on my doorstep like they had some sort of a right to even find or speak to me, and I blew up. She had the audacity to bring her child who, if the number run right, was born almost exactly 10 months after me. She gave me up for adoption and then found me without my permission or consent because her child was sick, and she thought that because I was her blood that she had the ducking right to ask me for parts of my body for her baby. If I wanted to give my kidney and a lobe of my liver away, I would. No need to turn up and try to guilt me. I screamed that she didn't have the right to ask me for anything, that she was disgusting, that I'd never met her in my life, yet she's here trying to ask me for parts of my body, that she was a waste, and that by having more children, after she'd put me up for adoption, she'd gotten rid of the right to ask me for anything. Am I bitter about being adopted out? No, but I take offense to being hunted down and found by a woman who birthed me and then dipped. I had lots of issues from the fact that she drank during her pregnancy with me, and now that I'm older, I've shaken them off. My birth sister said I'm dying, and I said that sounds like a personal issue, shut my door, called campus police, and then put all of my social media to private and locked everything down. No need to have anyone else trying to find me. I recently told my dads, and they said that I was tar because I shouldn't have blown up, but she was the bigger A because she arrived from Atlanta, where I was born, and where she lived, to Berkeley, where I go to school, with no heads up to anyone. I've also been getting messages from my birth family begging me to reconsider and sending me long letters, but I don't care. I need those parts of my body and I don't owe anyone anything. If anyone is wondering how they found me, I'm a college blogger, and I have a social media filled with information about me. It wouldn't be hard to find me at all. This happened back in September of 2019, and I'm not sure what's happened to them since then because I blocked and have cut them all off. Edit. Some of you seem to think that I could in fact give the donation. I could not. I have a lot of issues from my mom being an addict and alcoholic when she was pregnant, and there's no way in hell that I could donate anything without risking my own health. Am I the idiot for refusing to keep in touch with my half-sister? My dad cheated multiple times on my mom, and as a result I have 2 half siblings that I know of, 16th and 8 meters, different mothers. My dad is now dead. Recently, my half sister's mom contacted me and said she wanted to meet up and talk. I reluctantly agreed because I didn't want to seem like an asshole. She said that, as the older child, I'm 25F and have a brother, 18 meters, I should make more of an effort to keep in touch with her daughter and spend more time together, me, my brother and my half sister. She said my half sister often asks about us and wants to get to know us, and that it would be a good idea for us to hang out more often. I've seen her like twice in my life. For clarification, she didn't try to make it seem like I'm obligated to do it. I only paraphrased what she said, but the gist is the same. She wanted me to check on her more often, invite her to our house, and involve my brother as well. In response, I reminded her as respectfully as I could that her daughter, though perfectly innocent, and wanted this no more than I or my brother did, is a living reminder of the pain and betrayal that my dad's affair caused to my mom and our family, and that I wasn't ready to simply accept her into my life, and I probably never would be. Just to be clear once again, I'm well aware that the blame lies entirely with my dad, but she knew he was married and had kids. So she is not exactly innocent either, and I would rather not have her or her daughter in my life. She wasn't too happy about what I said, but seemed to respect the way I felt and didn't push further, at least not right away. But a few minutes later, when my half sister showed up, she started saying stuff like you two should hang out more often, you should exchange numbers, and just repeating the same things we had just talked about. I didn't say anything because I didn't want to risk being hurtful towards my half sister, but when I went home I blocked her mother's number and deleted her from all my social media accounts. I was angry because I felt she had no right to ask that of me. However, now that I'm calmer, I feel like I'm being an asshole to the person who deserves at least my half sister by depriving her of a sister and a brother just because of the circumstances under which she was conceived. Am I the idiot?